It's time for the Ella Johnson Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show, where there are two sides to every story. Enjoy the broadcast. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Ella Johnson Show. I am so excited. I say that every time I go live. I am excited every time. Why? Because I get the opportunity to share with you Black History Month. It is Black History Month on the Ella Johnson Show all month long. I hope you guys have been watching. I hope you've been tuning in. Even if I don't see you here, I hope that you're secretly watching these broadcasts after they go live, so that you can learn the information that we're learning that we want to share with you. If you're watching from Facebook, thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Saturday night, y'all could be doing anything else, but you decided to take time and be here on the Ella Johnson Show. So I appreciate that. If you're watching from LinkedIn, Instagram, Global News Network, Facebook, YouTube, I appreciate you wherever you are. Just do me a favor. Wherever you are, share the broadcast. That is helpful because we get our viewership up, right, guys? As you can see, I have Lou and Marcia here with me tonight. I'm so excited. New blood. Lou is new blood here. I love it. And Marcia, you're just like your grandfather then. Like you are the Ella Johnson Show now. So that's what happens. It's you now, Lou. But I want you guys to meet my guests. Marcia, start with you and tell everybody who you are.
Ella and I stomped together, grew up together. And I'm just so thrilled to see her rise. Brilliant sister, and I'm just so thrilled. But me personally, I follow my mother's footsteps, I guess, and my family's footsteps, because education was such a great big deal. And I dropped my little historic tidbit that I'm so proud of. My grandfather, my mother's father, was a blacksmith, but he taught his neighbors to read at night, having graduated from Tuskegee. So I adore that about my history, and our family history is beautiful. And so I think of us as, I think we should start with our own personal histories, super important, and just expand out and make sure we know more about us, more about our families, more about our communities, and just keep striving for Black history.
Amen. 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 All right, Miss Lou.
Yes, I'm Lou, and how do I know Ella? Glad you asked. I was up at my home church, Ammonton Missionary Baptist Church, up in Peterman, and I was up there for a book signing. And my pastor, who's Terry Johnson, once I got back to work, he sent me a link. He said, "Hey, I think you should reach out to Ella." That probably was about 2 weeks ago, and me and Ella connected. But I'm from Peterman. I graduated from J.F. Shields High School in 1991. Spent 34 years in the service. Also worked for the federal government. I'm the author of "I Almost Slipped." That'll be introduced to you a little later. And I'm very proud of my people. And I'm here. Of course, Ella is one of my people. So I am here to give back to the community at this time.
Yay. Oh, that was just wonderful. You guys didn't have to talk about me, though. I don't know I don't know where that came from. Thank you. But you guys didn't have to do that. But put your book back up, Lou. You did it so fast. She was like, "Here's my book." Yeah, no, show it. You be proud. Yes, because here on the Ella Johnson Show, we love to honor our authors. Now, I told Lou she's going to come back, and we're going to dig into her book and her story. But tonight is Black History. So welcome both of you guys to the Ella Johnson Show. So nice. Awesome. I love it. And thank you, Terry, for introducing and telling Lou about me. I appreciate that if you're watching. But let me just tell you, his nickname is Red Man Chewing Tobacco. Okay. All right. It's red.
I'm, I'm writing that down.
Yeah, let that I did it, Terry. I'm sorry. But anyway, guys, I'm just so excited for us to be here tonight. Tonight we're gonna dive into Alabama history.
Oh yeah.
All month long, I told you guys we were gonna have a two-part series for Alabama history because it's so rich. We're all from Alabama. Who better to talk about our history than
Oh,
us?
yeah, yeah.
Tonight
Yes,
is gonna be
yes.
full of a lot of stuff. I got videos, we got conversation. We're gonna reveal some stuff that's some dirt on some of these movements. Yeah, I said it. Every movement comes with some stuff.
Oh yeah.
And we don't do fluff here on the Ella Johnson Show. We're gonna talk about it as it is. Great achievements that we did in Alabama, that we made in Alabama, but we still got some work to do. All right. Do you guys
Mhm.
agree?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Listen, I want to start out with because I was trying to think, okay, how far back do we want to go? Let's start back before like Civil War. Let's talk about some of the stuff that was going on then because well, actually I said after the Civil War I wanted to start. But we don't need to talk about the Civil War. But I will say this because there's a lot of mixed talk about the Civil War. People said that it's about honor. They said it's about this and that, but we know that it was really about slavery. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
saw I saw somebody ask, I think it was the secretary, and it could have been her, it could have been someone else, another politician, and they were asking her, "Do you know what the Civil War was all about?" And it's almost like they just get amnesia, like they did not know what to say. Why is that, Marsha?
Oh man. Slavery is that dirty secret, and I don't know why they behave like it's a dirty secret. It happened. It was you traded in human lives, and you wanted your free labor, and you wanted the economic benefit that came with all that free labor, and so it was. I mean, one of the things I think of, I apologize for my brain is just thinking of so many things. But one of the things I think of with this country and its inability to move forward past the transgression that slavery was
Wow.
is I think about South Africa. I think about South Africa having a Truth and Reconciliation Commission where atrocities had to be acknowledged, and they had a process for dealing with the atrocity. Okay, let's just put it out here. Okay, how are we going to move forward knowing that this has happened? So we tend to look down on other countries in South Africa. Oh well, we would never be as horrible as South Africa.
Oh.
Yeah, well, about that, they came together and they formed a plan. Is it perfect? I don't know for sure. I'm not that close to it, but they at least formed a plan for how to address all of the aggressions, all of the pain that was caused by their systems of oppression there. So America can't even acknowledge that it happened.
I know it.
It's some weird,
I thought it
memory
was just
loss.
me, Marsha. I noticed that too. I'm like, it happened. It happened in these United States of America. Yeah, I know you guys have made everybody think that we were just so smart and that's why this country was wealthy. You missed the part about how you didn't have to pay for labor.
Right,
That
right.
kind of helped you a little bit. What do
And
you
for
think
all
about
those
that? And you know what?
generations.
I forgot to say thank you for your service, Lou. You just said you were in
Uh,
the military for 34 years, and I just went, "Brrr."
Yes.
But that is
well,
amazing. That is amazing. God bless you. What branch were you in?
Army.
Oh, Army. Okay. Thank you so for your service. Okay. Now you
Sure.
can answer. Go ahead.
Okay. The topic is why can't America recognize it? Without a doubt, I've seen a lot. And
Right.
from my point of view, I think America as a whole, they think if they don't say it enough, if they say it didn't happen enough, that it will get the word out and we'll continue to overlook it or don't have to own up to it. And that goes a little deeper than people just not recognizing it. It's embedded in our fabric,
That's right.
meaning that most of the wealth and the power still lie between a few percent of white men in
That's right.
particular. For that reason, they were the majority owner of slaves. And it just spiraled from there. As long as we keep them in power who don't recognize it, remember, if the top is not right, the feet not going to be right. It just continue the process.
Mhm.
And if they can persuade people under them to ignore it or not to acknowledge it and give them some of what they want or tell them that they are better than their neighbor who's black, it will continue.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, 1000%. So I want us to move past it because we got a lot to cover tonight.
Mhm.
So my question was going to be, if I said to you guys that are watching this that the ownership of black bodies was what they were after, would you agree? And you guys do agree with that. So now we're going to go to the radical reconstruction phase, 1867 to 1864, 74, because we're going to take this, we're going to kind of timelines things that I think are important for
Mhm.
Alabama's history. Okay, guys? So we're going to
Yeah.
go through some of it kind of fast.
Okay.
In other parts, we're going to just really stop and talk about it. But after the Civil War, there are some things that we were accomplishing in Alabama.
Yeah.
The U.S. government forced Alabama to give black men the right to vote,
Mm-hmm,
right?
That's
mm-hmm,
right.
That was a good
mm-hmm,
thing.
It was
mm-hmm.
a great
That was
thing.
a good
Right.
thing. Now, y'all
Yeah.
know that Alabama was trifling. They didn't really care about that, right? We're going
Right.
to get
Mhm.
into all of that. They were trifling. This is what I understand. You know how people say, "Yeah, but we're the administration for law and order. We believe in that." When they're talking about law and order, they're not talking about the law
Right.
and
Right.
order for it. That's just a dog whistle.
It is. It
Okay.
absolutely is.
Thank you. Thank you. Now that just flew over a lot of people's head because you're not understanding why is it then that if they're always saying they're about law and order, why are they always breaking the law? Because that's not
Always.
the law and order they're talking about. But
Right.
we'll get that another night, Marsha, right?
Indeed.
We'll get that one another night. Over 100 black men served in the state legislative.
Yes.
Good stuff. They're passing
Mm-hmm.
laws,
That's right.
repairing roads, protecting labor rights. Things are good.
Yep.
Benjamin Turner, he was a black congressman, very educated. James Rapierre, wealthy, educated man. They represented the state in D.C. A lot of good
Mhm.
stuff happening.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? What'd you
Oh
say?
yeah.
Yeah.
We agree.
Biracial government, first public school system for blacks and white children. This is in Alabama. This is all feeling good, right?
Oh yeah.
Poor white farmers, formerly enslaved black people realize that they got to work together. Okay, this stuff is good. Now y'all know it wasn't all that because guess what's happening now? The rise of the KKK.
Oh yeah.
Uh oh, there it is.
Yep.
Well, why in the world are they rearing their ugly heads at this point? Lou, what do you think?
Huh. Because they are, the bottom line is they are at the point of losing their traction, meaning that they're majority and they're no longer the most educated because we got the power now to, even if we have to break some barriers or some glass ceilings, we got the ability for the most part to be educated. So they feel that they are losing their traction. In other words, what they think that they have given us too much
Mm,
and we getting a little too smart.
mm.
Now they got to figure out how to roll, as they would say, some of our entitlements back that they have given us.
There it is.
Yep.
Because they targeted black politicians.
Yes,
Um,
Absolutely.
they had to
yes.
suppress the vote. Now, in a minute, y'all gonna say amen lights when I say, do you see this happening now? Yes,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
amen lights.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
told you, there's nothing new under the
Yes,
sun.
nothing new.
Nothing, nothing.
Nothing.
True. True.
Uh, they even passed these enforcement acts, which is actually KKK acts. That's what they call
Mhm.
it. President Ulysses S. Grant was the president back then. And he actually even sent federal troops, guys, to Alabama to arrest Klansmen. We feeling some kind of way now, right?
Mhm.
Yes,
We,
Yeah.
I'm sure the people back then were feeling like, wow, finally, someone is standing up for Black people.
Mhm.
Doesn't last though, guys,
Right.
because it doesn't last. But y'all already know that. That's why we're having this show
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
remind you that it didn't last.
That's right.
And so yeah, so that what do you guys have to say about KKK? Let's go ahead and cover them while we're at it. For the people that don't know what KKK is, give them an overview, Marsha, of what kind of stuff KKK did in Alabama.
Oh, well, they, it was all about suppression of Black people, oppression and suppression. It's unfortunate that we couldn't unite. I mean, I love, I know you've heard me speak about Chairman Fred Hampton, but he is such an impressive example because he managed to unite
Yes.
the young. They called themselves something else though, but they were like the young arm of the KKK. And he
Yeah.
said, he asked them questions like how do your kids eat, like are you cold at night, he asked them things about their life, and he
Yeah.
said we are the same, and he managed to convince them to join the Rainbow Coalition, which is often attributed to Jesse Jackson, God rest his wonderful soul. um, but yeah, he started that. And once he did that, that's what put him in the crosshairs of the United States government. I'm sorry, I'm taking it way off task. Okay,
Yeah.
the KKK is it's just the White Grievance Committee. How about that? The White Grievance.
that's a good one.
That's a good one.
So
That's good.
that's it. Like, oh well, they can't lord it over Black people. They enjoy the power of being a bully, and I mean in every context of being a bully, an economic bully, a physical bully. But Black people did everything they could do as soon as they were liberated to do it. So when it came to learning, education, we're running that race. When it comes to business, we're doing it. When it comes to our creativity and our ability to make things, create things, all the patents that Black people created, and of course, remembering all the patents that were stolen from Black people
Yes.
also.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
there's nothing that we didn't do, that we couldn't do if we weren't being, shackled. So there's that grievance, that jealousy,
Right.
the White Grievance Committee. That's it.
Well, what these people were doing, guys, I know it's graphic and it's hard to hear, but I don't
Sure.
want to take for granted that everybody knows what the
Yes.
KKK was doing. They were
Oh,
running
I'm sorry.
around, they were killing
And
people,
people
That's
they
right.
were
interested.
throwing
Yep.
they were throwing fire bombs into people's homes,
That's right.
purposely running people off. They were working with the police to make
Sure.
sure that, because a lot of the people on the police were KKK.
That's
That's
right.
why when they went to do their lynchings and you didn't see anybody at the police department, that's because they got a hood on now.
That's right.
Okay. And so that is one of the reasons Black people, especially in Alabama, knew that they had to get home because the
Had to
sheriff
see
office is
Black
shut down,
people. Yeah.
Right.
right?
Yeah, the
So
Night
these are the
Riders.
kind of things. They were hanging people from trees. They were
Sure.
cutting babies out of pregnant women. They were dismembering their
Yes.
bodies. They were selling their parts off, eating their body parts,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Just gruesome, brutal people.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So
Oh
I
yeah.
just wanted to put that out there for the shock factor, just in case I have somebody that this is the
Absolutely.
KKK, Ella. Okay, now you know. And they were able, and they were given the freedom to do this. In fact, in the White House, President Woodrow Wilson was the one that really energized them. Y'all know how sometimes we'll see Trump and he'll give those dog whistles
Of
to
course.
like the skinheads and people like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he learned from Woodrow Wilson, but Woodrow Wilson just brought him to the White House, you know. and they watched the movie Birth of a Nation straight from the White House. So he gave them the energy. So the KKK now from the White House, remember how Trump gave them instruction for January 6th?
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
Yes.
stay with me,
Okay.
right? So they got their instruction from the White House that this is okay. We need y'all to protect our white women. Black men are bad. They presented them as bad from the White House, guys.
Right.
So this is what KKK. But guess what? We got two instances in Alabama that I'm told are one of the worst ones. Y'all know who the first one is? Claude O'Neill. You guys heard about him? 1934. 1934, Claude O'Neill. This one was so horrible that they announced it on the radio. Yeah, see, they would do that too. They needed to publicly shame and humiliate these people. It was bad enough you're killing them and all of this in front of everybody, but now you got to really shame them. They would cut off their penises and make them eat it.
Of course.
Okay? This is real. This is history.
Yep.
But this particular guy, they announced it on the radio. They tortured him for hours, and then they just hung him from a tree. And this is when the NAACP pushed for these anti-lynching laws, was after this incident. And I can't believe, can you believe that people were actually fighting to keep that? Like it was a form of, we need to make sure that Blacks understand that you're not a person, you don't have a brain. We tell you what to do. And any of you that think you want to try it, I want you to see what just happened to Kuta. All right?
Right.
Kuta, remember his name, right? When they chopped off his feet. I don't even know if that's really a true story. You know what I'm talking about from the movie Roots.
Right.
But these kinds of things were real. This is what it really was. That was one. And the second one wasn't that long ago. It was in our lifetime, Marsha. Like we were in school in Monroeville when this one happened. This one happened in 1981 in Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah.
Michael Donald.
Yeah.
Y'all remember him?
Mm-hmm.
And the mob was pissed because there were this white policeman that they did not convict. You know, they failed to convict for the police officer's killing. And so the KKK got pissed. They ran across this how old was he? 19 years old. Michael Donald.
He was a kid.
He was a kid.
Yeah.
And they
a special needs kid at that.
Oh, was he really? I didn't know that part. He was special needs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just random, right, Marsha? Is that how you remember it?
Yep.
And they hung him.
Wrong place, wrong time.
19 years old. What did he do to them? Just because they could. Now, remember all that good stuff I was talking about? What happened? We were getting a little too big for our britches, right, Lou?
Yes.
That's right.
Like,
that's right.
Stay
in your place.
Y'all going a little bit
Stay
too
in our
far
place.
now.
That's
But,
right.
but the upside is, if there is an upside, but the upside is that Morris Dees at Southern Poverty Law Center and his mother sued the Klan and bankrupted them for the murder of that young man. Of course, she has said repeatedly, I give him every dime back for my son, of course. But
no, baby, don't give it
there's
back.
something.
That's foolishness. I don't want nobody talking about giving it back. That's foolishness. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Keep the money.
Yeah.
$7 million.
But still, the question still will remain, what can we give them that they'll be satisfied? No matter what they get, they're still not happy.
Yeah.
Because we still exist and we still fight through whatever they put in front of us.
Well, here's what I think, Lou. I think that when we hear our administration talk about make America great again, I'm telling you what he means. I don't care what you guys think. I don't care what they told you. I'm going to tell you what he means.
Right. Yeah. When was it really great for us?
There it is. Right?
And
what era are we talking about?
What period is he talking about? We don't know because we can't recall all that great.
Yeah. When was it great? When was America great? When was it great?
But you know what? You don't ever get anybody to answer that question. I challenge you. Find anybody to answer that question and they can't do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, was it when Christopher Columbus got here and murdered the natives that were already here?
Yeah.
when was America great? When
When
was it
women
great?
couldn't vote, when we were hanging from trees. Like,
Yep, yep.
I mean, it could be anything, but I know that it was never equal for us. And one thing I want to ask you guys too. I don't know, maybe I'll ask it now because I may forget it later. Do you think, and I want both of you to answer this, do you think that we messed up when we decided to integrate? Should we have stayed segregated?
Mm, well,
I, Me personally, I don't think we messed up. I think we dropped the ball further down the road. For example, that was our ancestors' era fighting for segregation. We seem to have gone somewhat backwards. They pushed, we got segregation, we got the voting rights passed, and all of this. But now we got so complacent to some of us won't even go to the poll.
Oh,
We
girl.
got so complacent. I remember my mom used to send us to school bare feet. We got so complacent. Our kids get 16. They said they don't want to go to school. We let them lay up in the bed with the cell phone. We can go on that topic another day. I think it's just we got so complacent and we did not push the ball forward.
sure.
What do you think, Marsha?
I hear you. I hear that. I hear that. I hate to be redundant, but my mother and I had a lot of conversations about that because she was someone who got to teach during this transition. She was teaching
Mm.
when, schools were segregated, and she was a part of, what happened when schools integrated. So the thing she reminded me of was that community. Our community was solid. I mean, the community, they came together, we supported each other. And she talked about how, okay, maybe the teacher might not have been as, let's say, degreed or experienced or qualified, but that teacher cared about Black kids. And that meant a lot because what does it matter if you're with someone who is so supposedly qualified, who
Mhm.
doesn't give a damn whether you live or die? Like really could care less about your development as a student, as an intellect, as a human. Okay, that's um
So Marsha, if we were doing so great, what were we lacking?
Well, there was a conversation about resources. There's a conversation about the facilities, and that, I mean, that's fair. It's fair to say, why do we have to have a rundown building that's provides untold risks for us and our children? Why can't our children have books without pages torn out, books that are just dilapidated, and when it's garbage for the white kids, then it's time for us to use it? Those were, I mean, those were reasons. You know, I just I just know that my mother felt there was a great loss of community. And one of the things she talked about was our economic foundation became splintered at integration, because not just the schools, but at the same time, we could shop in the stores uptown. We could, all those things happened at the same time.
Taking
So
the money out of our
taking the
community.
money out of our community.
So that
So,
didn't benefit us.
right.
Right.
So that was one of the things that she spoke about most plaintively, about having lost our economic foundation. We go over to Aunt Sally's restaurant, get a hamburger, or we go over here and buy our supplies over here, our groceries over there. And instead of but it seemed like, oh wow, we can go uptown now. What a great privilege. And I just remember, and Ella, I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. I always hated going into Betsos because that little white lady always followed me out the store. I
I remember.
despised her.
I
Me and
remember.
Kim plotted on how we was gonna jump her and knock her down, and then we were gonna run out the store. We, I mean, it was so awful. It was just so like that's how her whole life was spent wandering around behind black people.
See, that's making me mad right now, just thinking about it. Like I'm literally
Right?
getting mad thinking about that. Yeah.
And it was so disgusting. You know, our mothers were in there, and I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it. But you
So
know,
here's the thing, guys, because when integration happened, they found a loophole. They did not want to go to school with us.
yeah,
Okay. They did not want to share what they were learning. So
Yeah.
they, in turn, found a way to be like, you know what? We're still not going to go to school with you guys. We're going to create our MA, like in
that's right.
Monroe,
That's right.
Yeah.
our private schools.
Right. Right.
So you can have the little public school thing if you want. We're still going to make sure that you don't ever get the information that we have. So what did we gain? That's what I'm saying. If we were doing better by ourselves, how is it that integrating made that process better? Because now we can drink out of the same water fountain?
Yeah.
Or was that still not happening at that point? Like what I really want to know the answer to that question, because I think that there may be a reason things didn't go the way. And look there, Miss Sharon. Sharon is actually part
And
of the show, guys. She's just on that side. So I want y'all to say hi, Sharon.
You
She's
should.
our historian
I
for the night. She
said,
said this is exactly what MLK Jr. meant when he said he led his people into a burning
Into a
house.
burning house.
Yes.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sharon. See, this is what I'm talking about.
and then to Ella on the flip side, every time black people went so far, if they felt that they was getting a little ahead, like they would burn their property down, or they would find some way to kill the male of the household. It just that no matter which direction progress came, it
Yeah,
was seen. They would somehow figure out how to tear it down.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's true. I want to take y'all to Eufaula, Alabama. Those of you
Mhm.
that are from Alabama and you're watching, you know Eufaula. Let me tell you what's going on in Eufaula in 1874. This is where things started to turn around. Now, we were starting to feel like we were getting a little place, we've already got the Voting Rights Act that's passed, and this is 1874, right? In Eufaula, Alabama. Now, this was at the peak of Reconstruction. Majority black, successful. Some of them are successful. We're electing Republicans, but the White League, because at the end we were Republicans. The White League is saying, "Oh no, 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 baby, that ain't happening. We're getting ready to put a stop to this right now." And this is what they did that day. On election day, there were 1,000 unarmed black men that gathered in Eufaula to vote. They have the right to vote now.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, the law said you have the right to vote. So
That's
they're
right.
doing that. So it was around noon. A dispute broke out. Y'all know how they do.
Of course.
A dispute broke out, and this young black man, they were going back and forth on whether he was old enough to vote or not.
Mhm.
Next thing you know, single shot breaks out. Now, mind you, on the second floor, these people had this planned. On the second floor, they had it already full of rifles ready to
Mhm.
go.
Yeah.
They unloaded on all these black people. They're talking about this. It angers me because we still don't get it. We
Yeah.
don't understand why they're trying so hard not to get you to vote. This is why. They look at all the trouble they went through. They didn't care about breaking the law or anything. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, no,
Yes.
we'll just kill them. We're not going to get in trouble. The police are going to back us. Hell, the police are probably helping them do it.
Of course.
So they killed up to 7 to 40 men were killed that day, and over 70 were wounded. That's right there in Eufaula, Alabama. This
Mm-hmm.
is Alabama history.
Yeah.
What do you guys have to say about that? You know where
Well,
Eufaula is, right? When
yeah,
you drive through there now, you're going to think about this. You're like, wow.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we know that the power is in voting. We know it's power in voting. That's one of the things that our venerated ancestor now, Jesse Jackson, and so many others taught us. Hey, I'm going to put it back on the ground floor. How about what Ernestine Odom taught us? Okay.
Say it. Say it. That is why I am here tonight, because of that woman.
That
She's
was wasn't
so
she
worthy.
terrific?
I'm telling you.
Because when we start, having these conversations, I don't want us to forget the foot soldiers. We got, yeah, man, it was great. We had wonderful the Black Panthers, Stokely Carmichael. We love him. We love him. We love him. He sat there, he organized in Alabama. We love him for all that. But let's not forget that it started right at our doorstep.
Yeah.
Miss Odom introduced me to so many things that I give thanks for knowing her. This was a person in our church who was over the youth choir. It was over the youth choir, and I remember at some point, I was president, and I remember, but I just remember how she raised us up. She raised us up in the movement. Man, we were little. We was handing out flyers and pamphlets.
Yes. Yes. No, it's true.
And got a little older. We was working the phones for Mr. Jones, whoever was running, whatever Black person. I didn't know the people. I didn't know their name. They just gave me a little paragraph. They gave me a script, and I called these numbers and I said it. I did whatever. But that lady taught us organizing, and I have had an opportunity to do a lot of political work based on what I learned as a child in Alabama. So, we didn't need people to come in and organize us. We had organizers. We had people. Miss Odom went from place to place. She got in that little Benz and she went from pillar to post, as my mother would say, organizing Black people in our community. And I'll tell you one more thing. She traveled to Africa, and I went into her home, and that was the first time that I knew that I could affiliate Africa with something wonderful, with something gorgeous, all those beautiful aesthetics she had in her home, all the beautiful art. And I asked her about it. She said, these are artifacts from Africa. And I was like, that was the first time I knew, because up until then, there was, our ancestors, they did such a horrible job on our people, because they couldn't say anything good about Africa. They were like, oh, well, I'm glad I live in the United States of America now, because those people over there are uncivilized, because that's how they got in our people's
Yeah.
heads.
They
And
have to do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and made them believe that, that Africa is less than. And in that instant, like I said, I attribute so much of my development to her making me understand that Africa was a glorious place, and that I was an African. And that meant that I was something glorious too. So I just needed to say that lady, influenced me heavily, as much as any other member of my family, as far as like helping me understand politics in America, the way America is organized, why voting is super important. I mean, I don't know who didn't go up there on their 18th birthday, but that lady, I was up there on my 18th.
I know it. She made sure we understood why the process was necessary. And I remember her taking a group of us to Montgomery to march. And that was when I personally met Jesse Jackson, because he was there. He actually kissed me on the cheek. I know that doesn't matter to most people, but to me, that was everything.
No, that's an important moment.
Yeah. But I want you guys to think about something. In that election in 1874 in Eufaula, 1,200 Black men voted. 2 years later, after that massacre that happened that day, 10 Black men dared to cast a ballot. 10.
Yeah.
And that is how the Republicans were able to take over again. And now they're back in power.
Yeah.
So if you haven't heard just in that little bit, you already can relate that to what's going on now.
Okay.
You're trying to turn it around to keep this power going.
Oh, yeah.
By suppressing the vote. So it just really upsets me when people don't vote. All right. Sharon's got us some information here. She says Selma had Benny Ruth Crenshaw. She called for mass meetings after we got the vote. She organized a boycott of Walmart when they wouldn't hire any African Americans in leadership roles. Nice. This is what it takes. We need to boycott them again, because now they're getting paid off prison labor.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Man, I've been hating Walmart a long time. I
You
mean,
got
a
a lot of
long
reasons to
time.
hate Walmart.
Yeah,
But
there's
for
a lot of reasons to hate Walmart.
yes.
First of all, they devastated our hometown. I won't go too far into that, but that was a policy decision that was made by, unfortunately, a Democratic president, Bill Clinton, in NAFTA, which destroyed our hometown and many other towns just like ours, where small businesses could not compete with Walmart and their low prices. So they would keep it low until they bankrupted every other small business in town. And then, then they raise it, of course, once they've eliminated all the competition. But
So,
yeah.
guys, now we have moved to the 1901 Constitution in Alabama. Oh, a mess. So, I'm going to let them tell you guys. I want y'all to watch this video.
Okay.
Please stay with us because we have a lot more to cover, but I want you to watch this video to explain that your Constitution that you have there in Alabama, it is long. It's got a lot of junk in it. Even lawyers are having a hard time understanding it. But I want you guys to watch this so you can learn a little bit more.
Yes.
Check this out.
In 1901, they got together. What a very sweet occasion.
We're trying to change the playing field here through music.
Their new songs are all about political issues.
A song about social justice work.
Alabama's prisons, our state constitution.
Back in 1901, they got together to make our homeland the greatest. Sit down, wrote the Constitution.
You might be wondering, why would anyone want to write a song about a state constitution?
That document is despicable and disgusting.
Really, 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 really awful.
Yes.
How so?
I say in the song written with a devil's pen because it was specifically written to keep people of my hue in a certain place.
No more stealing votes from the black folks. We'll just take the rights away.
It turns out the state constitution of Alabama has been the subject of criticism and contest since it was first drafted at the turn of the last century.
So we're looking at the original signed copy of Alabama's state constitution of 1901.
Steve Murray is the director of the Alabama Department of Archives and History.
We, the people of the state of Alabama, in order to establish justice.
Murray explains that after Reconstruction ended in Alabama in the mid-1870s, a coalition of white agricultural and industrial elites came to power. They sought lower taxes and lax regulation, but a rival populist movement made up of African Americans and rural whites threatened their control.
There were legitimate political challenges in the form of the populists who came close to actually winning important elections in state government in the 1890s. So the adoption of this document in 1901 was intended to legally shrink the electorate and to consolidate power.
To write the new Constitution, 155 white men gathered in Montgomery in May 1901. John Knox, the president of the convention, made their goal clear: to establish white supremacy in this state.
This is something that's painful to see and read, but this is the reality.
The new Constitution made law several tactics to suppress the black vote.
Either owning land or owning personal property of a certain value, being able to pay a poll tax, being able to pass a literacy test.
And it worked. The number of Black Alabamians registered to vote fell from 180,000 in 1900 to fewer than 3,000 by 1903. The new Constitution also segregated schools and banned interracial marriage. And to satisfy the drafters' financial interests, it capped the property tax at a low rate. Today, the offensive sections on race are no longer in force. They've been struck down by amendment, federal law, and the Supreme Court. But the racist language is still sitting in the document, and other sections that are in force still contain references to the poll tax and school segregation.
It's despicable that it's actually written in a legal document. You will be looked at as less than.
But what I have in my hand today is one of the most significant things that I've done as a member of this body.
Marika Coleman is a member of the Alabama House of Representatives.
And what this resolution does is removes the racist language from the Alabama State Constitution.
Coleman also proposes deleting a section about involuntary servitude.
No form of slavery shall exist in this state, and there shall not be any involuntary servitude otherwise than for the punishment of crime of which the party shall have been duly convicted.
The 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution contains nearly identical language, as do 19 other state constitutions. Opponents argue it legalizes forced labor in prisons. In Alabama, it was used until 1928 to justify the state's convict lease system. Prisoners, overwhelmingly Black and often arrested on trumped-up charges, were leased to private industry to do harsh manual labor for no pay. There have been numerous attempts to overhaul the Constitution over the years, including a lawsuit that made it to the Supreme Court, reforms proposed by 7 governors, Democrat and Republican, and repeated calls for a new constitutional convention. Most all have failed.
Wonder why.
So Alabama specifically wanted white supremacy. So for people who think that times are better, they're smart enough to make you think that. They'll even do some things to make you think you're getting ahead. But then in the secret hallways of Congress, they have this stuff on paper. What do you guys think about that? Knowing that we are all from a state where they intended it to be white supremacy. They wanted poll taxes. They wanted these literacy tests. Now, I want y'all to answer that first, but then I want to let people understand what poll taxes, what all this stuff was all about. What do you think about that, Lou, seeing this?
When I think about the poll taxes, because at the higher level, it was in place that we had the right to education and the right to vote, and they had came into segregation. Therefore, what they were doing, they was not allowed to outlaw it, so they put what they could in place to limit access to a good education or to the system of voting. That's basically what it boils down to. But at the same time, they instilled in their children that Blacks wasn't no good, but we was good enough to clean their house, cook their food, and breastfeed their kids. It all come back around to they want control over the body. It's not that they don't want the body to exist anymore. They just want control over what they consider, what was their labor, and they would do it at any cost.
In fact, the convict leasing was deadlier than slavery, guys.
Yes.
It really was. And the reason people don't have an opinion about this is because they just don't know that they were trying to find a way to keep you enslaved. That's why they had that in the Constitution.
Yes.
Okay. Except for punishment. Okay. That's prison.
Yeah.
Convict leasing.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's explain to everybody what convict leasing is. Can you guys explain that, or should I explain it?
Sure. Well, I mean, it's what they're doing in prison and have done for all of time. I think I might have been missing the language convict leasing, but I always knew that they let businesses utilize prisoners for work without pay. So it's been going on. It's been going on forever. They just found a new name for it.
Until they die.
Until they die. Yeah, and that's why, the current president that we have is so, they're so wanton about it. They're picking up people, just people, brown complected, of course, but just people who are citizens, people who are mothers, people who are handicapped, people who are injured. I'm like, why are you taking them? Why are you taking them? They can't even fight you back. I mean, a woman lost her baby. That's how she was heavy pregnant. And they manhandled her to the point where she lost her baby. I mean, it takes a special kind of depravity to operate in that way.
I wanted to make sure that I'm giving good information because this is Alabama, right? Inmates work in the Alabama correctional industries. They make license plates, furniture, janitorial supplies. They also work in service study programs doing maintenance for state agencies. Everybody's getting a piece of them. They didn't get rid of slavery. They just call it a new name now. In fact, it's called slavery by a new name. They didn't get rid of it. And in Alabama, some of them make zero. But the ones that do more of the industrial jobs, they make between 25 cents and 75 cents per hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's a kickback. Oh, you know, everybody's getting greased. Everybody's palms are getting greased. This is Alabama. This is not Florida. Tonight it's about Alabama. I'm telling you guys about your history, the ones of you that are still there. The state takes a massive administrative fee, usually up to like 40%, from the wages of inmates in work release programs to cover their own room and board.
For prison. Girl, they crafty, ain't they? They are crafty.
Well, we around here worrying about trail rides. I love the trail rides, but guys, this is the kind of stuff we need to be talking about. This is the kind of stuff that we need to get involved with. I don't live in Alabama. Right. So what's happening in Alabama does not affect me, but it affects me because my family lives there and you that are watching live there.
That's right.
I'm bringing this so you know what's going on in your state at the present time. This is what's happening in Alabama. Just the thought, Lou and Marcia, of knowing people are going to prison, sometimes not even guilty. I know that some of you, this is what you're thinking. Well, Ella, I hear what you're saying. Well, then they just don't need to go to prison. Okay. Well, we're going to cover, and we should have covered tonight, but I'm going to make sure that I cover in Black History Month, just how many people went to prison in Alabama because the police who are following the methods of KKK, because they planted evidence on them.
Oh, yeah.
People think we're making this up, y'all.
Yeah.
You can Google it. It's real.
Yeah.
Whole police department, corrupt. Right in Monroeville, we had a corrupt police department, which we're going to talk about that tomorrow night. Okay. So this is the kind of stuff that's going on with this Constitution. And you see that the Congresswoman, she said that, or whatever her title was, she's working on getting some of that language taken out of it. And she's working on it. But even in that video, it goes long and long and long. But she talks about how it's so hard to understand. They got so much stuff. It's the largest constitution in the country, the one in Alabama. It's so thick. So it would take somebody that really, really is on top of things to go through it just to unpack and see what's really in there. You guys, you got to be in the know and stuff like this. And then on my show, when I said, you remember, this was when I was talking about how we need to hold our leaders accountable. This is what I'm talking about, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're going to get into Martin Luther King, Bloody Sunday very shortly. Definitely want to get into Martin Luther King because that definitely directly involves, Alabama and the bus boycott and all that stuff. But it's so easy for our organizations to get infiltrated, right?
Oh, yeah.
You said that about Fred Hampton.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what happened to him.
Yeah.
And it happened. COINTELPRO was on a mission.
Oh, yeah.
They were on a mission.
Yep. And I wanted you to know, like, Dr. Martin Luther King didn't die of the gunshot wounds. He was suffocated by an officer that was supposedly sent to guard the door. So I just want you to know.
And I believe it. Let's just go ahead and jump into Martin Luther King. Let's go ahead and jump into Martin Luther King. How about that? Because y'all know when we think Black history, you can't think of it without Martin Luther, John Lewis, Malcolm X. I know Malcolm was a radical, but Malcolm was right. Malcolm was right about a lot of stuff. Like him or love him, but he was right about a lot of stuff. Just being real. So let's talk about Martin. What's your first impression when you first heard about Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Lou? Where were you? Do you remember?
That he's probably was the first Black history figure I heard about in elementary school.
Yeah.
He probably was the first one they introduced us to.
I think so too. I think I remember you seeing his picture in the Alabama history book.
Yes.
I was surprised because it wasn't that many Blacks. I was like, wow, finally we did something. Oh, but wait a minute, they killed him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So,
Yeah.
Right.
uh,
Well, they sanitized his history to where it was something. They gave us a sound bite. The "I have a dream." They didn't talk about his demand for economic equity. They didn't talk about his demand for, unions, labor unions. They didn't talk about his demand for fairness and wages. They didn't talk about those things. They didn't talk about those things. Just "I have a dream," and it was safe
Yeah.
and it was cushy and it was sweet.
Yeah.
but he didn't
Yeah.
write it. I'm sorry. I'm way ahead of myself. He really didn't write it.
Yeah.
He had help writing his speeches, but
Right.
I want y'all to think about it. Martin had a lot of people around him that helped him get the stuff done. He had an inner circle. We're gonna talk about the inner circle because some of them were trifling, okay? And we will talk about it. But he relied on this guy named Clarence Jones, was one of them, and he helped write some of his speeches. And during the speech, guys, when it was live and he was doing the "I Have a Dream," Mahalia Jackson said, "Martin, tell him about the dream." And then he got away from the speech, the written
Right.
version, and he
Right.
started ad-libbing, and just
Right.
kind of telling his story.
Right.
But I want to properly introduce Martin Luther King to the Ella Johnson Show. Is that good? Lord, Ella is introducing people who ain't here. Y'all better get that girl some help.
Come on. Come on.
Y'all better get her some help. No, but seriously, I want you to know who he was, because I wanted to do a deep dive and so we can understand who Martin Luther King really was. Martin was part of the Black elite of Atlanta.
Yes.
His daddy was a pastor, Ebenezer Baptist Church. He went to school, Boston University, earned his PhD in systematic theology, very educated.
Very.
And he was polished and intellectual. And I want y'all to know this. He was a little hesitant with getting involved with y'all trifling selves. Okay. He really was. He was elite. He was proper. He was around educated, very intellectual people. So he was a little hesitant about getting into the rough and tumble of street activism. Okay. He was hesitant. That's real. Then, how did he get to Montgomery? He was 25 years old. Okay. And he accepted the pastorate at Dexter in Montgomery. Now, why Montgomery? He was getting offers from other places. Let me just tell you. See, this is how God was working it, because he ended up in Montgomery. He wanted out of his father's shadow, pretty much. That's why he ended up there. It was a high society Black church. Now, Martin didn't go to some hole in the wall. These are professionals. They're professional people. They're high class. They're professors, educated people that went to this church. Now, so what happened? Jimmy Lee Jackson. Is that his name? Jimmy Lee Jackson got killed right in front of his mom. They had like this protest. He was out there that night, and they told him to go home. Next thing you know, the street lights were shut down. They started running. Everybody scattered. They cornered him in a cafe, and they shot him right in the stomach in front of his mom. And when Martin heard about that, that's when they were just like, you know what? Y'all know when we hear something and it really pisses us off, we're energized now.
That's right.
But that's what energized this movement, was that moment right there, was what happened to Jimmy Lee. Okay. So what do you guys think about his story so far? Did y'all know that he really wanted to stay away from activism? Did you know that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He was counting up the cost. He was a young man. Let's remember it. Newly married young man, new to the town. Basically, he didn't think he was the one. He was like, "What about this guy? What about that guy? People in the town that were more senior than him, and they were like, "Nope, you the one. It's you." And they felt like him not being a part
Right.
homegrown was a great advantage.
Yeah. Yeah.
For them.
The fact that he wasn't tarnished yet. They're
Yeah.
like, well, look, you haven't been here long enough for people to hate you. You're
Yeah.
it. Right?
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
seriously, that's really what it is. So when this happened, they needed a boycott and they needed a face for it. And then it was the Montgomery Improvement Association, MIE. So they chose him, and he accepted it. So He had like 20 minutes to prepare, and then he gave a speech about, he's here, he's going to do it. Now, but he started right away realizing, okay, this is how y'all doing it in Alabama. His house got bombed, at some point with his wife and his infant baby in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then y'all know that we got the bus boycott. This is Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah.
Now, what do you guys remember about the bus boycott? Let me let you guys talk some here. Lou, what do you remember about the boycott that sticks out to you?
I remember everyone not taking the bus. Everyone
Okay.
came together, decided that they would not take the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, y'all realize that there was a lady that did it before Rosa, right?
Yes.
All right.
Right.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
did it first.
But the NAACP was too bougie to let her be the representative of the
Yeah,
Black people because she was a young unwed mother. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she was like 15 years old.
Yeah.
And she fought back, and they didn't think that was a good image for it. So they said, okay, Rosa will do. She looks small, she's timid, she's fair skinned, she looks great. We'll use her. Now,
well, Rosa Parks was an activist in her own right, also.
That's true. That's true.
She had a background of activism.
Yeah, because she was friends with Fannie Lou Hamer. Yeah,
right.
they were friends.
She did voter registration drives, and
yeah.
She was in the community. She was already in the community.
So I want y'all to pay attention, though, because the boycott worked. Why do you think it worked? Why were they able to get it to work, Marsha?
Well, our mothers talked about it, because this isn't that long ago. You got to remember, our mothers participated. My mother and my aunt, they were both students at Alabama State at the time. And they talked extensively about what that was like. And I wish I could have another conversation with Aunt Bessie about it. I never tired of hearing them talk about it. But, they just, when you are doing something, even though it's hard, man, you are in love with one another. You walking with your cousin, with your sister, with your brothers, and your feet get tired, as they say, as the lady said, but my soul is happy. You just feel good. You are standing up to these people that want to bully you, that want to humiliate you. And it was empowering. And those people, they did it a long time. Look at us. We can't stay at a Target for 30 days, but those people walked. They walked for over a year. It took them, they were walking and catching rides. And I just think about the strength it took for them to walk. Oh, yeah, people jeered at them. And, and then, after the bus drive, after they started realizing how much money they were losing, the bus driver stopped, hey, come on in. They opened the doors. And then they're like, nah, we don't want to come in. Nah, we ain't interested. Yeah, because they was hurting. They was hurting, like 10, 12 white people on there. And they was like, you can come in. You could, nah, I keep my money. I keep my money. People kept walking. And so they knew they were having success. They knew they were united and they loved one another. They had set up this system of people who had cars available, giving rides all day long. And, white people participated. One unfortunate white woman got murdered participating in the rise. I think her name was Violet. I can't remember her name. But yeah, I mean, the community came together, and it was a beautiful thing when the community comes together, unites, and fights back.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Do you think that we could do something like that now, Lou? You think we could withstand a whole year not catching Uber? Because I don't know anybody catching buses anymore, but people do still get
No, yes, but only if we came together. Like those of us with cars or transportation vans, we pick each other up and use our own services and go back to the basic of community that way, because some people work a long ways from home, therefore start like back then they walked, but we could do carpools, we could do something like that, and but it got to be a stronghold together. And when times get rough, we need to just push through it and motivate each other like our
Yeah.
ancestors did, because
But nobody
we
is
have
doing
to
that.
we have to
Nobody is doing
remember.
that. Yeah.
I
And
don't think we're
if we
connected. I agree.
did went back, and if we do go back to it, we got to realize that some people would lose their job, whatever. So we got to be willing to put our resources where they count in other households. But we can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Right.
we had a stronger community those days, though. I feel like,
Yes, yes, we
you
did.
know, Ella, I mean, think about this. Like you're in Florida, I'm in New York, and we're not, surrounded by our immediate family the way we were. We were attached to the land, and my cousin lived over here, and my other cousin lived over here, and my uncle lived back there, and my aunt lived over here, and so there was a certain benefit to the way our communities were organized. So even though we might not have necessarily liked that we were being relegated to certain neighborhoods, there was a strength that came from being together that way. So what the sister is saying here, like I remember my mama. I know your mama did it too. Your mama fixed food and took it over to somebody's house
Yes, yes.
when there was a hardship. When they knew something,
Still do it.
my dog want to participate now. But when there was hardship, we helped each other. Shut up. We helped each other in those ways. We extended ourselves. Hey, when we go to church, Reverend Floyd say so and so, we got to take a collection for this family because so and so they lost their child, they lost their job, something. But I don't know if our communities are that bonded now. Let me go address my unhappy.
That's okay. Go ahead. So Sharon is reminding us, guys, that Jimmy Jackson, that incident led us into Bloody Sunday, not necessarily the bus boycott. We were just all over the place because we wanted to cover it, Sharon. But yes, thank you for definitely reminding us of that. Jimmy Lee Jackson getting killed. That's what sparked the Bloody Sunday.
The organization, the
Right.
organization of a
That's
march.
what it was. And the Bloody Sunday, that was a whole vibe too, guys. But just to wrap up the boycott, because this happened in Alabama, like we've been saying, it was for like over a year. They worked together. People even put their money in the game, helping to buy gas, maintaining the cars, just so they didn't have to give up what they had started.
Yeah.
Now, do I think we could do something like this today? Well, the reason it may be more difficult now is because you'll have people that don't want to lose what they've established.
Exactly.
Okay, look, I've gotten myself here, Ella. I cannot afford to come out there and mess up what I got going on. I'll help in other ways. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I like the boycott, because they marched, they've had water hoses, they've gone through all of this stuff, but it was this and Bloody Sunday. They got them some action. Why was Bloody Sunday so good for the movement? What did it do for them, Lou? The fact that they were able to Bloody Sunday. What progress did they get from that? Well, actually, what happened is that it was televised.
Media. The
Yeah.
I
media.
was gonna say national attention.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was televised. It didn't look good. The president at the time was like, "Whoa, what is this? We got all of this going on." Oh, no. But this is what I'm saying, though. It was, and I credit one of and I'm going to get to it, but I credit that to one of Martin's people, because they made sure that stuff like this was seen. They had one guy on his team that he actually made sure that was his job. Make sure that the media sees it. If it's brutal, because they use the media to their advantage.
Absolutely.
They really did. So I was so glad about that. But I know that we're jumping around a little bit, guys, but I want to go back to Bloody Sunday because I do have a video. I want y'all to watch this because this is him in his own words, John Lewis, talking about Bloody Sunday. I want y'all to take a look at this one.
line up in twos to walk from Selma to Montgomery.
We're marching today to dramatize to the nation, dramatize to the world, that hundreds and thousands of Negro citizens of Alabama, but particularly here in the Blackbelt area, denied the right to vote.
I was wearing a backpack before it became fashionable to wear backpacks. I thought I was going to get arrested and go to jail, so in this backpack, I wanted to have something to eat. I had one apple and one orange. I had 2 books. I had toothpaste and a toothbrush. But we understood while we were walking through the streets of Selma that the sheriff of Selma and Dallas County had requested that all white men over the age of 21 to come down to the courthouse that Saturday night to be deputized, to become part of his posse. We just kept walking. We come to the highest point on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Down below, we see a sea of blue, Alabama State Troopers. We saw all of this water down below in the Alabama River. Jose Williams said to me, "John, can you swim?" I said, "No." Jose, "What about you?"
That would have been me.
He said, "A little." I said, "Well, there's too much water in this river for us to jump. We must go straight ahead." A man by the name of John Cloud identified himself and said, "I'm Major John Cloud of the Alabama State Troopers."
It's detrimental to your safety to continue this march, and I'm paying attention to unlawful.
This is an unlawful march, will not be allowed to continue.
You are ordered to disperse, go home, or go to your church.
Disperse, return to your homes or to your church. I said, "Major, may I have a word?" He said, "There will be no word." You saw these men putting on their gas masks. He said, "Troopers advance."
Troopers here, advance.
They came toward us, beating us with nightsticks, trampling us with horses, releasing tear gas. I was the first person to be hit. I was hit in the head by a state trooper with a nightstick. I thought I saw death. I thought I was going to die on that bridge. I thought it was my last nonviolent protest. And all these many years later, I don't recall I made it back across that bridge to the church. I do recall being in the church. They asked me to say something to the audience. And I stood up and said something like, "I don't understand it. How President Johnson can send troops to Vietnam and cannot send troops to Selma, Alabama to protect people who only desires to register to vote."
Hi, YouTubers. I'm excited to give you an update about...
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful.
Wow. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
When we've even gone across that bridge. We've seen it.
Yeah.
Being from Alabama. We know the story. What is it gonna take to energize people now? Because back then they had good speakers, they had a situation where they were in that they were all working towards, because they were all suffering. Now we've gotten so, like you said, complacent, and we just don't get involved with anything. We don't even tune in to learn about our history. How do we energize people who care more about trail rides, all this stuff, all this fun, superficial stuff, going to the malls, buying all of this stuff, looking a certain way, pretending to be this and that, while we're still going back to this? Is it going to take us having to prove that we're going back to this, or will people believe it when we're back at this? What is it going to take, guys? What do you think?
Well, as an educator, I believe in the power of teaching. I believe in the power of listening. I think, you know, Ellie, you and I had this, I think, connected experience. So I keep referring back to it. We had a relationship with our elders who didn't mind taking the time to tell us how it was for them and how they expected us to move forward with their blessing,
Yes.
to improve the way for for others, for the, you know, because they basically handed us the torch. It's like, okay, I've done my part, I did what I could, this is how it was for us, but look at you, you can go to school anywhere, you can go anywhere. Now what are you going to do? So we were, I guess, deputized with the same expectation that we would go forth and do what we could for our community, however we did it, however we chose to do it. So I don't know. I think that, you know, we start out in a microcosm, you know, a part of a community, doing what we can within the community that we're in, and just, you know, keep the work going because we can't stop. They haven't stopped. We can't stop.
Yeah. What do you think, Lou? What is it going to take for the
Well,
young people?
I think first of all, the problem was, it's bad to say it was us, our generation. Our ancestors handed us a torch. We handed our kids a silver platter for the most part. We did
Mhm.
not want them to endure half of the stuff that we endured, so we wanted them to have it a lot better.
Okay.
And if the truth be told, we could say we gave it to them too well. So until they hit somewhat uh, a rock bottom, until they hit rock bottom and they see it for themselves, I think it's gonna take a hard time for the actual reality to sit in, for example. Uh,
I think that
but
families,
I do believe
yeah.
it's gonna take the black women because black women are already enduring now at the top of the federal government. They have laid off roughly 300,000, and I'm yet to see them begging for food. They're out there hustling. They are starting their own business. They are entrepreneurs. They are coming up with new ideas every day. So that set that had it all and losing it all, they are at the bottom of the foundation of the ones that's struggling. Now, when they come back up, they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with. So when the rest of us fall, they gonna be the pillar that catch us and move us on because they prepping for the fall already while we are still enjoying the goodness.
I think that kids watch what we do. They
Yes,
watch what we do. They watch what is being said in church,
yes,
and they feel like at this point in life, to hell with the history. We don't need it anymore. We got God now. We don't have to worry about slavery. God is not going to allow this. Well, not playing devil's advocate, but God was there then too.
That's right.
And I mean, am I lying? He's
No, no,
everywhere.
you're not.
He allowed us to get through it, but he was also there during that time as well.
Mhm.
I don't want to see our kids. We have to tell them the truth.
Yeah.
We have to tell them the truth about religion. We have to tell them the truth about slavery, all of it. When you have kids that can watch TV now, when you see stuff like this, a friend of mine sent this to me today. When we see stuff like this is the kind of stuff that's going to continue to um, it's going to continue to keep our kids so concerned.
Oh God.
We have a pastor that sentenced to prison after stealing $400,000 from the church, but we're sending them to church. We're sending them to this institution to make sure that this is where you're going to learn. It's like we're taking away from us and we're putting it in everybody else's hands, the teacher's hands, the church's hands. We're putting it in everybody's hands to teach our kids when we need to take that role. because it's a whole different world. Because when they're in social media and they're learning it, they're not learning it the way it should be taught. They're learning it from people who have an agenda. And I'm talking about pastors, I'm talking about senators, I'm talking about representatives, I'm talking about people that have something to gain. We just talked about the other night where you have these representatives and senators that are getting paid from these private prison companies.
Yeah.
So they're going to sit out here and tell you whatever they need to tell you for you to vote for them. Same thing with ministers. And I'm not trying to make this about the church, but when you see stuff like this is why kids are confused, because they hear us say one thing, but then they see something else.
Sure.
It's okay to tell him that God is who God is. Have a relationship with him. Don't get caught up in this stuff. Don't look to them as your God. We have made people be our gods.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're so disappointed. What do you guys think about
In the older days, when the kids went to church, they actually had their parents there. At least one of their parents was there, or grandparents took everybody to church. And they acted different as pastors. Pastors actually took more of a role. They taught the Bible, but they took more of a role in the community as a leadership role. And if they were doing anything, the members, for the most part, was the last to know. But these days, people are so into God forgives all and grace and prosperity preaching until the actual bottom line, what the church should be teaching. A lot of times, kids not getting it. I often tell the story where I never believed in sending my kids to church. I was there, and if I couldn't follow the preacher and it wasn't biblical based, my kids nor I went to that particular church anymore. So you can't say I'm gonna send my kid to church to learn the Bible when you don't know it yourself, because your kid will come back and talk to you, and it'll be something not even in the Bible. So if you don't know it, you don't even know whether they're telling you the truth.
I want to take Sharon's comment here, and I want to pick this apart because she's technically part of the show tonight. She's one of our guests. She's just doing it from this side. She says, "This is not our fight. We've marched enough. We've sang. We shall overcome enough. We've opened doors through marching, protesting, being beaten, water hoses turned on us, and opened the doors for the same white women, Latinos, and other African Americans who voted for Trump. Oof. We need to stay on this roof and watch this country burn to the ground. Afterwards, we just get down, help build this country into this country it should have been the whole time." Now, that's a different perspective. She said, "Let it burn. Let the people who open the door for the devil usher him out. This is a white voters fight, not ours." Now, what do you guys have to say about that? Well, first of all, Sharon, I 1000% agree. I don't think we need to always feel like we got to fix it. Why do we have to fix everything? We didn't mess it up. We didn't usher violence into this country. We didn't bring slavery here. We're not the ones that cut us down and tried to take us out of this American dream. And now you want us to be the ones to be forgiving and fix it? Let it burn to the ground. I agree. I agree. If that's radical, then I'm radical. Because they're the ones that need to realize, like you said at the beginning, it was you, Marsha, that said at the beginning of the broadcast, they yet have the time to accept their responsibility and their role in all of this and getting this country to where it is. You didn't want black people in the White House? Well, guess what? It was all white. And now look at it. You even named it the White House.
Right.
Like, be honest, who built it?
Who built it? It's a Black House.
You guys are enjoying all these luxurious things that you're enjoying, like Central Park, for example. You built it on top of a black community.
That's right. That's right.
And you thought we weren't going to say anything about it. No, we know about it. We know about it now.
Absolutely.
But I still say that white women, whether we want to agree or agree to disagree, white women are Americans' jewel. meaning that they cater to the white men, knowing the white men are the ones that's bringing this country down. They are, for the most part, the one that go out and click the ballots at the poll, because most of us don't go. So until they feel the heat themselves, when they decided to turn against the white man for their livelihood, that's when we're gonna see a real change.
That's it. That's an
And
interesting.
I think that right now we're in the point of it because those Epstein's files,
Uh-oh.
and when the white lady got killed in Minnesota,
Yeah.
we're stepping on the country jewels now. Now they getting real attention because now the white men are not taking care of their jewels.
Yeah. Well, again, I think, well, I've spoken a lot about how the activist energy affected me in my youth. So I do feel driven to be a part. I do feel obliged to, do what I can in the role that I have, in the role that I've chosen, and in the things that I think are important. So I stand for youth, and of course I stand for my
Yes,
community. So when it comes
yes,
to voting, I encourage, I support, I
yes,
do what I
yes,
can to get my community engaged, to make sure I have conversations with the people that I'm living life with, that I work with, that I'm neighbors with, about who's on the ballot and who do you
yeah.
think? What do you think? Are you registered? So those are conversations I have, and I urge my children to have those same conversations. Um, and they do, generally speaking, they do. Um, I I don't I don't know if it's something we have the luxury of sitting out of. You know what I mean? Like, we're in it. Like, they're picking up people of color. When they say people of color, when they say people, it's Hispanic people, they're talking about you, right? They're talking about me. I'm saying
Right.
we look the same. They're not checking that. They're not checking documents. They're dragging brown skinned people. So I don't know how I get to not. I mean, my daughter was always approaching high school by Hispanic people who walked up to say and say, greet her in Spanish. She said, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And then they'll call her a gringo and walk away because she has the appearance of a Hispanic person, if you want to
Yeah.
say that. So I can't not react when
So
someone
what do
says,
we do though? But what do we do, Marsha? We say we want to get involved. We don't like what happened. What do we do? Do we go down there and protest with them? Do we, I mean, what do we do? I mean, seriously, if somebody that's watching wants to know, how do I get involved? What can I do? What can they do? What can we
okay,
do?
well, what did Booker T. Washington say? Set down your, what did he say? Set down your bucket where you are. Wherever you are, like I said, I'm in schools, I'm an educator, I'm with youth. Where I am,
Yeah.
I'm going to use my voice. If I have an opportunity, I mean, opportunities present themselves to you when you open your mind to the idea. Well, what can I do? I mean, you see it. I had a friend who taught me, I'm not taught me, but she developed a ministry where she was going out and feeding the homeless, and on the weekends she was there making sandwiches, getting these packets together, and she was knowledgeable. She said, well, they need this and they need things like this, and I learned so much from her. And I mean,
Right.
just whatever you can do, you should try
Right.
it. I mean, I don't know, what are you driven to do? What's your talent? What's your skill set? Use the tools at your disposal, for the good of the nation. And I mean Black nation, but it's the whole nation. Because if you helping your community, you helping the whole world.
Well, I
But
like
I
what Hattie
think what
says.
they're but I think what they're saying is that I think what Sharon is saying, that when the white women in the past have gained what they needed, and the Black women did not have what they needed, or the Black folks did not have what they needed, we was left behind by ourselves. and she's saying that not in such an essence, not do anything, but put your energy like this. I am not out there protesting. I do not plan to go protest at all. However, the guy Clyde Jones is running for my district in Alabama. So what I did, I host Clyde Jones over at my house. I got the pastors, I got some of the Black people in the community, and we did a meet and greet at my house so that they will know who Clyde Jones is.
That's good.
On the ballot, supporting
Yeah.
the Black people in this area. However, that fighting and stuff in the streets is not for me this time around. But however, as a citizen with the ability to do something and to vote, I have focused my attention towards trying to get somebody better in the White House.
Oh, I like that idea. That was very good. That was very kind of you, Sharon. I mean, Lou, that was very kind of you. Did a lot of people show up for that?
Yes, we had 20 some people show up, and we will have another one. Hopefully it'll be big and better.
Oh, I love
Once
it. I
it
love
actually out on the campaign trail.
That's great.
Now, did he?
That's what I mean. You do what you do.
Exactly. Were the young people engaged? Were they there?
No, I didn't have. I might have had 3 young people show up, but
it's a start. That's a good start. Good for you.
Right.
Good for you. I mean, I think that Alabama really, really needs strong people that are running. It's important, though, that people that are running for office, please make your plans plain. You know,
Right.
don't just say fluff, because then you get people to vote for
Right.
you and you get in there and don't do anything. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to be the one in Alabama and you get my vote and then you don't do anything. I'm going to call you out. So with Sharon, right? Because you don't know who's really for you and who really isn't. I've seen too much betrayal in my life. Maybe I need therapy. Maybe that's what it is. I just see too much betrayal, right? So Sharon says, I didn't say that we shouldn't vote. I'm saying the moment we get out on the front lines, we will have targets on our chest. They're waiting on us to get out there. We do what we can,
That's
where
true.
we can, but we've sacrificed enough for this country.
That's true.
I mean, I think so. When she was saying let it burn down, I don't think we're talking about burning it down.
Exactly.
We're saying step out of the way and let them fix it. You
Right.
guys
Put them on the
Put them on the
front line.
Put them on the front line. Let the people who have privilege, let the people who are less likely to get dragged show up. I mean, I'm not saying, we have to be strategic. I'm just saying we don't get to sit out though. But
I was listening to a lot of Malcolm X this weekend. And I listened to one of his shows, one of his interviews, and he talked about how he said, I challenge he said Negro leader, because I mean, this was in the 60s. He said, I challenge any Negro leader to tell me what was the gain from marching, getting beaten up, having water hoses on you, dogs biting you. What was the gain? If Malcolm was here on the Ella Johnson show and he asked you ladies, hey, what was the gain from all of that? You're here talking about it, but what did you gain from it? What would you say? Starting with you, Marsha.
I think, I mean, we talked about publicizing the cruelty of the leadership, the people who are sworn to protect and serve. I think that, it's unfortunate, nobody wants it, but that caused a great shift. In communities, that didn't know that what Southern Black people were going through. And we, culturally, the South and the North, they have a lot of things in common, not to suggest that they're so different, but I just think they did not realize the brutality of Southern white people at that era. So something did come of it. And there were a lot of shifts, presidential shifts. I mean, the same, who was it after Kennedy? because he was not necessarily a friend of Black people, but he knew that the current had shifted. And with John F. Kennedy having been shot, he had to act. He had to carry through and finish off what JFK started. So,
Johnson.
yeah, I mean, it was brutality, but again, it was another part of the story, and it's a whole story. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't take
Yeah.
one section out of it and
Yeah.
assess that. It was a trajectory, and
Right.
that was an important element of the story that the whole country unfortunately had to see.
Yeah. I think
Okay,
Bloody
I
Sunday
think
was definitely big. Go ahead, Miss Lou.
I think what they did, they brought awareness to it, what was going on, but at the same time, white people became more strategically to do it different. They built better prisons. They made their schools and everything even worse because now they can't do it openly. They went in hindsight now to do what they do, to put less attention on it. But the end state remained the same, to keep us down.
So, guys, before we get out of here, we're going to talk about this photo right here. It's Black History Month, Alabama. I know this didn't happen in Alabama, but these guys were affiliated. This is the photo of the shooting of Martin Luther King right after he was shot. And you had the people on the balcony that were pointing over. And they were pointing over to, what was it? There was somebody's.
Yeah.
I have it written down here. But anyway, they were pointing over to show the police that's where the shot came from. Now, there's a lot of controversy behind this photo. I want y'all to pay attention and look at this photo because we're going to talk about it. Okay. So you see that there's someone leaning over Dr. King. You see, I think that's Abernathy was coming out the door, so I don't think you can really see him. This lady, Miss Hunt, that's the one that's standing right there. This photo, believe it or not, has a lot of controversy. And the reason I wanted to bring it out is because obviously Jesse Jackson, and we have to just give him honor on this broadcast. He died this week, and condolences to his family. He was there right in the middle of all of this, and he was right there with Martin Luther King and John Lewis. All of those guys were together. But I want to talk about that photo, but I want to talk about his circle. And the reason I want to end the show with that tonight is because let's see what Sharon says first before we go to this. She said, it's time for white people to meet themselves for the first time. Every time Trump posts something racist, they're looking at themselves in the mirror. If they don't like the reflection, they need to change the person in the mirror. She is on it.
She's fired up.
She said that. And she is so right. Listen, she said we got to pull that again. For the first time, white people are meeting themselves. So what she's saying when she say they're meeting themselves is that you've always had everything. You guys have had the privilege to be Karens. You've had the privilege to just walk up in black people's homes and do whatever, say whatever. I'm not talking about women. I'm talking about the system.
Right.
You systemically made sure that we were left out of some things, but you didn't succeed. So now what's happening is now you want to work with us to fix it. Okay. Well, I don't see that happening. I think that it is time for everyone in this country to wake up and realize what kind of country we started. You guys wanted to be wealthy. You wanted to be wealthier than everyone. You wanted to be funny and say that we were 3/5 of a person. You wanted to put your little declaration together and leave us out of it. You did all of these mean, nasty, ugly things to African Americans, and now you want to work together. What is the benefit for us? Are you going to are you going to continue making all that money off these private prison companies? Are you going to continue to do that? Because I don't see anything changing. And then when I see stuff, this is another thing I want to talk to y'all about. Remind me, we're going to talk about the old lady who said that Trump is not racist, and I don't want to hear y'all talk about that anymore. Oof. I know this is not what that's about tonight, but I just can't even lay my head on my pillow until we address it. I can't do it, Marsha. I can't do it. I got to talk about it. So let's talk a little bit about Martin. Martin had a lot of people around him. Okay, guys, this is where this is where the FBI has really pulled and called our number.
Oh yeah.
They know how to find people that look like me and you.
Mm-hmm.
That will turn on us in a heartbeat.
That's right.
They have managed to do that, and it's been happening ever since slavery. You know, you had those people that was trying to get money for watching and catching slaves and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll follow them. I'll turn them in, and we fall for it. And everything that we tried to do, it is the goal. It was the goal of these United States FBI to make sure that they neutralize Black men that started something, trying to do something. So with Martin, you know what they tried to do with him? They did everything they could to dismantle this operation. And you guys are going to see it. The reason I got to talk about this, Marsha and Lou, is because we know that he's getting ready to release those files.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to tell you some of the stuff you're going to probably see in the files. Mm-hmm. He was having, extramarital situations going on. I don't want you to be surprised. They used some of us to serve as FBI informants to infiltrate this movement, and he used people that were close to him. I want y'all to remember this. I want y'all to think about a snake. I'm going to put on my motivational message hat right now. I want you guys to think about a snake. All right? A snake is something that if it bites you, it could take you out. But it's got to first get close enough to you. What do you think it's got to do for you not to recognize it's a snake? It has to disguise itself. And I'm not just talking about what happened to King, because this is happening to y'all too.
Oh yeah.
Y'all thank me tomorrow. Amen lights. You might as well go ahead and say amen. It's true. People who were going to bite you, people who want to take you out, if you will, they have to disguise themselves. And that's what these people did around King. So let's talk about some of his circle. Ralph Abernathy, everybody knows him. He was nice. He was his best friend. When you think about Abernathy, everybody says that was Trump. That was King's best friend. He's the one that kept him grounded. He made sure that whenever Trump, throw something at me.
No.
Go ahead and throw something at me. I said Trump instead of King.
Oh, it's okay. It's part of the political conversation.
Pray for me that my tongue can get right tonight. Abernathy was his best friend. He was the one that made sure that King stayed grounded. That's one guy. I'm going to be brief. Bayard Rustin. He's the one that taught King nonviolence. Y'all know that, right? He's the one that taught King nonviolence, Gandhi's way. He organized. He was the organizer. He was good at organizing the marches. He actually did the one on Washington. But here's the thing with this guy. He was gay.
Yeah.
He was gay.
Did
Did that matter, Marsha?
Did not, because he was brave.
It doesn't to us, but it did to the movement. Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess it's because he's a pastor. These are pastors. The Bible speaks against it. I guess they didn't want to mix the image. Because I'm going to be honest with you, people actually tried to blackmail King during this movement because they tried to tell him, they were trying to come up with little lies. You know, you got something going on with that dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just trifling. All right. That was this guy, Bayard Rustin, but he was very influential to and instrumental in this movement. He really did a lot to help. Ella Baker, she was the one. This is a woman. I want y'all to hear it. Her name's Ella. Like, hello.
Yeah, your namesake.
She pushed for the group-centered leadership. Tell me what y'all think about that. She was like, let's stop making one person out to be the leader.
Yeah.
Let's collectively lead this group. Do you guys think she was right about that?
100%. Yeah, because once they cut off the head, the movement stopped.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't do that because when he died, the movement shifted. It ended, basically.
Well, she said that she felt the King was getting excited about the spotlight. There were several people that kind of alluded to that during some of his inner circle. They felt like, but they said it about Jesse Jackson too. So They definitely said it about Jackson Jackson. We're gonna talk about Jesse. God bless the dead. But I had the show playing before he died. I'm sorry. So I got to tell the truth. Got to tell it like it is.
Tell it.
Wyatt T. Walker. He was known as the general. He treated the movement like a military campaign. He made sure that there was precision and everything was done decently and in order. Isn't that what they say? And he was the one that timed the marches just in time. Remember I said just in time for the media to see it. He was on point with that. Fred Gray was the lawyer in the group, 24 years old. He was Rosa Parks' lawyer and Dr. King's lawyer. And he was the one that litigated the case for the bus, for integrating the buses, schools voting, and the 1901 red tape in the Constitution, the 1901 Constitution. Then we got Stanley Levison. I'm going quickly, guys. He was the sounding board for the radical ideas. Now, this was a white man. He was Jewish. He was very close to Dr. King, actually. He was very close to him, and he worked for free. He didn't want to take King's money. He was like, look, this became one of his best and most trusted advisors. All right. And he helped him with his books. Hosea Williams, he was also there. He walked side by side with Jay Lewis across that bridge. You remember in the video, he was talking about, they were talking about, hey, can you swim? If they would have thrown people across the bridge, that would have been the end of my journey right there because I can't swim. It would have been over for me. They were like, well, Ella was here. But thank God that it happened. But he walked side by side with him. He was a scientist by trade, but he was an agitator by choice. He was the person that you go to when there's a march. And he was standing right next to Mount Martin when the shots rang out. Jesse Jackson. Now, he didn't get along with Abernathy. Did you guys know that? They didn't get along. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. They're two very strong personalities right there.
Exactly. Two very strong personalities. And they just felt like Jesse had a different agenda. Like he was there for something else. Like he was setting himself up. This is what I'm reading. This is my research. He was setting himself up to replace Martin if that day would ever come. So that's why they were just like looking at him like, is this guy really in it to be in it, or is he in here for show? But we can't take anything from Jesse because he did some great things. I mean, like you said, he did a boycott. He did a boycott against stores that didn't hire Black people. So he was instrumental in the movement. So we can't take that away from him. But this is the thing. Y'all saw that picture? Jesse said that he was the one, because the next day he showed up on the Today Show after the shooting. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but the next day he showed up after the shooting to be interviewed, and he had on a bloody turtleneck.
Right.
And he said that he held Martin Luther King as he died. That wasn't true.
Right.
You guys know this, right?
I knew that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Where it was, he actually put his hand in the blood and put it on himself.
Yeah. Now, why would he do that? Lou, why do you think he would? Why would he lie and say that he was holding his man when he died and he wasn't even on the balcony? He was down in the courtyard. Why? What's the purpose of that? What is the gain of that? Because this is how we lose people. This foolishness.
Right.
Why do you think he did that?
To gain popularity. Probably, and to just put his name out there. So it's no other reason why. There's no other reason why. Because he was already part of the movement, and it appeared he just wanted to, I guess, just move up front or something. But he still, once Martin died, he still went his own direction.
Yeah, I mean, he
And
still went
then
on.
it is a such thing as young and dumb. It is such thing. Everybody don't know everything, and it was just one of them bad moves he made. Could have been the possibility of that too.
Well, I mean, he could have been overzealous, there's that. And there's, let's be real too, there's male ego. There's a thing that our men are struck with because, like you said, Ella Baker is often attributed with being Dr. King's most important mentor. And for a long time, we didn't know who she was, and she wanted it that way, probably. But there are people who they're leaders, and they can be good leaders, but they also need some of that attention. They need some of that hype. And, we just want to keep people's feet to the fire. I don't find fault with Jesse Jackson in the totality of his life.
Of
But
course.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was a zealous young man.
Yeah. I mean, and this
Then
is not to
too,
take away from his accomplishments, but this is just if we're going to tell the story,
Sure.
tell the whole story,
Of
right?
course. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
right, and then
So,
I often say that
Thinking.
as blacks, we got to be careful because we, uh, not that we shouldn't be true, we should always be truthful, but we hold our people to a different standard. We put we hold our people to the highest of the highest. If you do anything wrong, we ain't gonna never vote for you again. That's just the way we see you. But at the same time, somebody could trump us down if we get the hint.
Right.
We still hanging in there.
Yeah. I want to
But
dovetail.
we don't have a chance to error. Once we make it so high, we don't get the grace of erring at all.
Mhm.
I think he did though, because people still followed him. Like he ran for president. He had, I think he ran for president twice,
Yes, he
and
did.
he had a lot of support.
Yeah.
But that was trifling. We just go
Yeah.
call a spade a spade. That was trifling.
But I didn't even know about that until you just said it. I didn't even
Yeah.
know, and I
A lot of
followed
people
him
don't
quite a
know.
bit. I didn't even know. Probably because his good outweighed his bad.
Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
But
Yeah.
guys, but as great as Martin Luther King was in his movement and all the accomplishments he made, he had people that the FBI, he had people around him that were spying on him.
Mhm.
Okay. The FBI wanted this man so much. They wanted to just dismantle him. They would send tapes to his wife of
Oh yeah.
him with other women
Mhm.
just to get her to abandon him. So,
Yeah.
because they felt like if she leaves him, the movement's over.
Yeah.
They tried to send letters to his home and made it look like they were from black folks that was mad at him for the way
Mhm.
he's handling business, and that was really the FBI.
Right.
They had all these tricks, and when all of that didn't work,
Yeah.
that's when they said, okay, let's get the FBI in here. We'll pay somebody. They paid good. James Harrison was very well paid. And guess what he was to Martin? The accountant.
Mhm. The body man.
He was the accountant.
Yeah.
He saw every check. He saw everything. People gave him he knew Martin's schedule. He gave all of it to the FBI.
Mhm.
That's why they couldn't understand why is it that they always seem to be a step ahead of us, because
Mhm.
they were.
Yeah.
That guy was one of them. And Clarence Jones, which is King's friend, suspected him. He said, Martin, look, that dude, I don't know, man, but Martin trusted him. He
Mhm.
wouldn't do that to me, man. And he did. That was one of them. The other one was Ernest Withers. He was the spy with the camera. This is a guy that was his photographer. He took all those boycott photos, the I Am a Man March photos. He was in wherever Martin went. When other people couldn't go, the photographer was there. And
Mhm.
he was also one of the informants for the
Mhm.
FBI. That guy ended up moving on. I think he ended up working with the CIA. I'm not sure if that's the one, but somebody did. But he was a photographer, and the FBI is the one that told on him. Oh yeah, by the way, he was helping us. Dang, I thought that was between me and you.
Right.
Then we had another guy, Merrill McCullough. Guys, we're almost out of here. Merrill McCullough, he was the one on the balcony. Now, y'all remember I told you, look at that photo? He was the one kneeling over. He
Mhm.
was kneeling over King's body. He was an undercover Memphis police officer. And he made a habit of infiltrating people's missions. Like that wasn't new to him. He's
Right.
the one that ended up going to the CIA. They
Mhm.
needed informants for stuff like this, and they did.
Mhm.
I just wanted to share that with you guys because the man in the suit is more dangerous than the man in the sheet.
Yeah.
And that's how we gonna leave it today on the Ella Johnson Show.
Yeah. Well, one
Straight up.
last thing I'll add, the King family successfully sued the U.S. government for the murder of Dr. King, and they won that suit.
They
And
sure
they had to
did.
settle. So that's to tell you that the person who killed him, like I said, was FBI and was the person who smothered him in his hospital bed, not the gunshot
Absolutely.
wound. Yeah.
That's right. One thought, she's right, because they didn't. That's why that Memphis police was there. He needed to see if it was done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so sad. It's so sad. And the man that they sent to prison for this, the Kings actually visited him in prison because they knew he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they knew he didn't do it. But Black History Alabama, what's something you're going to take home with you, Lou, that you remember the most from the show? Alabama history on the Ella Johnson Show.
And there's plenty of work to be done.
Like what? What do you mean? Expound a little bit. I don't want to put you on the spot, but
If we just need to get back to the basics. If nothing else, go help people, get them registered to vote. And once they register to vote, motivate them to actually go to the polls. Because I've seen them around here, how they mobilize everybody, take their paperwork, we get them registered. But when time to go vote, they still don't go to the polls. We have to just follow it through. You got to follow it all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate the work that you're doing there, Lou, with trying to, work with and get this guy that you're trying to. Who is it that you're talking to that's running for office, and what are they running for?
He's Clyde Jones, the House for District 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Excellent.
And what does he stand for?
He's anything the opposite of Trump.
There we go. Right.
That's a good
He's
answer.
on TikTok. He's on TikTok. He's on Facebook. Go check out some of his videos.
Okay.
Anything the opposite of Trump, he's there.
I am.
But he is very based in the community. I must met Clyde about 10 or 12 years ago at I was at a lupus walk. And he has been there every year, assisting any way he can. He did a lot in the community. He live in Daphne, but he just got a heart for his people. And he served 20 some years in the Army as well.
I would love for him to come on the show if he's willing to do that, so that we can question him. I would love that.
He will. I make sure I give him the information.
Absolutely, because I think that we should get young people on the show. I've been trying to get young people on the show all month because I want to pick their brains. I want to know what about history that excites them, because we grew up thinking, we're not going to need that. We're not going to need. I know I did. That's how we grew up thinking. Okay, I'm just going to do enough to pass this class. I'm not going to need this. Boy, were we wrong. Yeah,
I think you should bring someone on the show like my son. Now, he's pretty much a straight A student. He's in college now. Okay. But there's a kid that grew up, even though he aced history, it was like, why do we even need this?
Mm-hmm.
I said that too. I mean, I've made a good grade in it, but I didn't care. Right. Because it wasn't interesting enough for me, because I didn't see enough of us in it, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, who could engage in a story about this country that doesn't include us, except for the part about slavery? I mean, come on.
But Marsha, that is so true. That's so true.
But I think our history should be focused on nowadays. Look where it brought us, and now look where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
I think our history should be more of a comparison instead of just relying on the past.
Well, I totally agree. And one of the objectives that I had for doing this month was not just to get on here and talk about that, but to show the parallels of where we were to where we are today.
That's
and we're right there. They just call it something different. And when
Mhm.
you sit down and really study, okay, let me look at these vagrancy laws, and let me look at what
Mhm.
welfare system was and what was it
Mhm.
designed to do, and the Willie Lynch letter. When you put it all on one side and then you put what's happening in this country, they
Right
match
now.
up.
Mhm.
They match
Mhm.
up. When
Something.
because we did a 2 night thing about the Willie Lynch letter on this broadcast, because it's been known to be like it's not a real document, but you can't help but notice that the stuff that they're talking about kind of did happen.
It kind of
Keep
did.
us
The
divided.
part and
We agree. Yeah.
I try to compare, uh, not compare, but I line up some more often than what's happening in the world based
Yeah.
on the truth of the Bible. And if Bible's true, and the first gonna be last, and the last gonna be first. That's why black women are moving into place, because we've always been the bottom of the barrel. But I think in closing, we got to realize and be honest with ourselves that 97% of the people we meet don't mean us no good. So we just need to find our 3%er and
She said that
shorten
don't
our
mean you no
circle,
good now.
and move in a direction as we should to lean more towards our people, because I have broken bread with the best of the best, but at the end of the day, I make sure my circle remains small, and that but I love all people, but at the same time, I know who mean me some good and who don't. But you still gotta have sense when you go in the company of others.
Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
She said you gotta have sense. Listen, I totally hear you on that. And see, I grew up, I will be honest here, because
Hmm.
I don't come on here and give you fluff.
Hmm.
Growing up in Monroeville, Alabama,
Hmm.
I never experienced racism directly at me. I never did. That's just real. I hung around people of different races all the time. Maybe I was blind to it. Maybe it was there. I didn't see it, but I never felt it.
Mhm.
I never felt less. They
Mhm.
never treated me like I was less. And that's what made me be more well rounded. And that's also the reason I couldn't understand this racism stuff, because I never experienced it. After I got along in life, then I start seeing some things. I
Mhm.
started experiencing different things. But if we're talking about Alabama history, all of this stuff, thank God that we weren't privy to waking up and there was somebody hanging on the cross at the church, Marsha.
Right.
Like,
Right.
can you imagine
Hmm.
if
Yeah.
we were going to church and we didn't see that? And I
Yeah.
know you as well. You had dealings with Caucasians and you never experienced it either, right, Marsha?
No, no, really. I mean, I have vivid recollections of one particular classmate that had a Confederate flag, like T-shirt or hat or something they would wear, and I had a response, like I had a very visceral response. I didn't say anything, but I just remember, and years later when I brought it up, they were like, they were kind of like clueless about it. They didn't seem to really know what it meant, or either that's what they said. But you know,
A lot of times they really don't know what it means.
but I'm gonna tell you this one thing though that I think is kind of funny. I left home, like I left Monroe County and went off to college, not realizing that the word academy did not mean white people gathered together. I'm serious. Like I did not, like I went to a school. I started off at this little tiny school in Tennessee where there was a little St. Andrew's Academy affiliated with the school. And I said, "Oh, y'all got one of those over there?" Because that was what I grew up thinking. Like academy meant white folks learning together. And it was a response to being around too many black folks. So I'm saying I left home at 18 thinking that academy went white folks school.
And see, but you know why I'm laughing? Because I went over to some Caucasian people's house for dinner. They're so proper. They're like, Ella, we want you to stay for dinner, but we got to call your mom. I'm like, oh, she ain't gonna care.
Yeah.
She's fine. They're like, but no, we have to call her. So they called my mom, and my mom, I'm like, Lord, I hope that when my mama answer the phone, she don't cuss them out. Because you know, black women, when they got home from work, they're tired. Don't call me.
Honey.
And I'm just like,
What's
please
going
let her
on?
act right today, right? So she gets on the phone and she says, that's fine. If you guys can bring her home, it would be a big help. They said, no, we got it. We'll bring her home. So we're like, I'm just like, okay, great. I'm going to get to stay over for dinner. I didn't care because I didn't see them as a white family. I saw them as an extension. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I still do. So we're sitting around and I'm hungry and I'm like, I'm so real. I can't help myself. I'm like, so when are we going to eat? And she's like, oh, no, Ella, we have to wait till father comes home. And I'm like, okay, I'm not used to that because there is no father in my home. So
Right.
I'm just saying. So she's like, yeah. I said, oh, okay, no problem. She said, well, while we're waiting, let's just go feed the dog. My first response, you mean the dogs eat before we do? She's like, you're so silly. I'm looking at her like, I didn't think it was a joke because in my house, the dogs
Dog
eat
eats the scraps.
Yeah, that's right.
What was left?
They table scraps.
I knew we grew up in the same kind of house. So I'm sitting and she's like, Ella, you are just so silly. I'm like, I'm not trying to be funny. Like in my house, the dogs get the scrap of what we don't eat. I'm sorry.
Dogs eat, man.
They have dog food. I said, they do? Like she's telling me that they have dog food. I mean, it's funny that you say that because we all have those kind of stories where we have experienced those kind of different side of the track kind of moments. But we're gonna get out of here, guys.
Okay.
What a great conversation.
Yes.
We're gonna come back tomorrow night, and this time we're gonna talk about Alabama, but we're gonna talk about Monroeville.
Okay. Yeah.
How's that gonna feel? Are you guys excited about that? What's something about Monroeville you want to know about? So I'll make sure that we talk about it. What's something that when you think of Monroeville, you're like, I wonder if, what's that for you? If there were any lynchings there?
It's not no wonder if is why isn't the government trying to put factory or not putting any factories or anything back there so that people can have a better quality of life?
I will say this is just my limited knowledge on stuff like that. I think that crime in Monroeville is going to have to go down before you get big companies wanting to come there. Because remember, if they come there, they have to bring their family there. They're having to have a lifestyle change. And is that somewhere they want to live? If they should ever have to do that? So we got the people in Monroeville got some work to do too. We got to find a way because there's a lot of killings going on, right? Am I right?
But it's not no worse than Birmingham and Mobile, and they pumping employment into these big cities. And
Well,
even though it's at a smaller scale, Monroeville, big crime for a smaller scale, but Alabama as a whole is not no worse the crime than Mobile.
What do you think about that,
crime and I'm sorry. I was just going to say crime and job statistics are related, though. I mean, if you have more jobs, you have less crime.
Yes.
But also, it was part of the thing I mentioned earlier, NAFTA, where President Clinton made it so much cheaper for them to take the industry to other countries like Mexico.
Vanity Fair.
Vanity Fair pulled out. It made it so cheap, because Vanity Fair was a good job. My dad retired from Vanity Fair. So
I worked there 5 years.
Yeah. My brother worked there for a while. I mean, people could afford a house and a car and help their kids. And, it was a good job, but I mean, it splintered our community, and that what we see in Monroeville has happened all over the country. It's just unfortunate. It's a horrible, unfortunate thing, but we've got to get back to figuring out how to support small businesses and not let 4 or 5 corporations own every doggone thing.
Yeah. How do people get excited about supporting Black businesses in Monroeville? Because I know one that gets supported is the funeral homes. Well, they definitely get a lot of support.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. but I don't know of others. And I know that there was a time when it wasn't like that. I remember there was a time when everything was so different. And we're going to talk about that
So different.
because I mean, I don't live there anymore, so it's difficult for me to be able to judge, right? Marsha and Lou, it's difficult for me because I'm on the outside looking in, but I
Yeah.
know what I experience when I do visit, but
Yeah.
I'm not there. I don't know what they're up against. I don't know what it's like to be there. And the only place you can go shop is Walmart or either I think they still Cato. It's a handful of stores,
Right.
and everybody's fighting for those jobs, and it's just and like you said, and they're having to go to Atmore to work,
Yeah.
having to go out, and it's a sad situation. And
A lot of people have left. A lot of people don't live there anymore. A lot. We just, I mean, Ella, you were there for the reunion weekend, right? For the homecoming weekend.
Yes, I saw you in the parade. Remember?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I'm just saying, what happened to our school? What we were 4A school.
Girl,
now we're a 1A school. There's nobody there. There's like
Same thing with Shields. They
35
got
people in the band.
elementary, high school,
I
and
think they're going to
elementary
eventually get rid of
combined.
Shields. Lou, they
Yeah,
might get rid of
yes,
Shields. You
yes,
think so too?
yes, because it's K through 12 right now. It's not even a 1A, it's a piece of A.
Girl, it's not even a whole A.
It's K through 12, but we love our
It was
school.
at least a 1A last year.
I'm sure it still is because there's lowest you can go. But it's
She
everybody
said
in one
half an A.
school. Everybody in one school. The school is K through 12.
Can you
The
believe
elementary
that?
school
It
is
hasn't
closed
it hasn't
down.
always been like that at Shields, right?
No, it was
no.
elementary and high
It was
school.
a high school,
They
baby.
closed the elementary school.
And you guys have like less than 100 people in your school?
I don't know. I think it might be more than that, but it's extremely small.
Do you think they should shut it down?
Where they gonna go? Because okay, if you bus them to Monroe, there's probably 20 some miles, and if you bus them all the way to Camden, it's still 20 some miles, and then you're gonna have to redistrict across county line if you take them to Wilcox County. So the closest school for all of them, all the way up to Vandenberg, gonna be Monroe. You talking Monroe to Vandenberg, then you're looking at 40 miles. Unless you
Wow.
redistrict and take Vandenberg and all of that and send it to Wilcox County. So unless you're gonna take and then you got everybody on Montgomery Hill, they come to Shields too. You're gonna have to take those to Greenville, and still you're gonna tear it up.
So
It
sad.
actually wouldn't be a Monroe County.
Yeah.
It's so sad. Yeah.
Ella, can I, my brain, right? It's not all the way functional.
Anything you want.
I want to blurt out something before we close it out. You said something I have curiosity about at Monroe. I have great curiosity about the Rosenwald School, which is what the elementary school was prior. And Rosenwald was a certain project to help rural Black people. And I have a lot of curiosity about that.
Okay, Rosenwald, because I think it goes in line with BIA as well.
Oh, okay.
And Union High, the Bethlehem Association, all of it. We're going to talk about.
I went to Union High.
Yeah.
You went to? Oh, they went to Union High.
My uncle was there.
I remember the dances there. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, they had the cafeteria. They had the dances in. But I wish we could have revitalized that school. It's an eyesore now, and it's sad. It's sad, and I think that
they don't have Head Start programming anymore.
Huh?
The Head Start program isn't down there anymore.
Girl, they stopped that a long time ago.
Oh wow,
that place was overrun with snakes.
Oh God,
overrun with snakes. Yeah, and it's a shame because if the Bethlehem Association that owns that has the money to repair it, shame on them. They should do something with it. It's in the community.
And,
yeah.
And here's here's something else that's interesting. Why was so many? Okay, in my era, I'm gonna say that why was so many of the blacks look like pushed in the Clausell, that little road? It just was so many in there.
What little road?
Clausell.
I know, but which road? There are a lot of roads in Clausell.
Just straight through there, past the National Guard.
She's just talking
down
about
that street.
Clausell as a black, an entirely black community, I guess.
Right. Yes, yes.
I mean, maybe that's the only place we could go. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Monroe County, like everybody else.
But yeah, they were closed it, had a frontal home, everything else. There was.
Listen,
No,
Clausell was the thing back in the day, girl. It was.
That's what I was gonna say. When I grew up, Clausell was popping, but I never really seen white people nothing down there walking the street.
No, ma'am.
And that's probably not gonna ever happen.
No, ma'am.
Because listen, even my friends were a little scared. Even my friends were a little scared taking me home. They're like, "Look at here, Ella. Now, when we get to your house, you need to get the hell out. I'll holler at you tomorrow." Because they know I love to talk, right? So it's like, it's not the time. You need to get it all out before we get to your house.
We're going to Clausell.
Yep.
But I don't remember Clausell being violent. We didn't have crime. Marsha,
No.
right?
Man, that was my whole family. My grandfather lived next door. My aunt across the street. My aunt on the other side. It was all my kinfolk. So
we didn't have any shootings and stuff
we
down
actually
there.
had a land trust at some point. I have to find out about that because it was land that was supposed to be like you could build on it if you were part of the bloodline. So I don't know what happened with that. I need to, make myself aware.
I do know that there was some kind of deal made with Mr. Jones to build Pineview, because everything else was Clausell, and then you got Pineview, and it was like, okay, we'll give you that land to build that part, because that's the part where I lived on. And listen, for us as kids growing up, it was paradise for us.
Yeah,
we were kids. We knew everybody in the community.
We
never went hungry.
Look, y'all had a pool down there.
We sure did, girl.
Yeah. Then later on, tennis courts and
tennis court, the pool. I remember so many days going up there to get in the pool, and they're like, "Where's your money?" I ain't got no money. Go ahead, Like,
it was money to get in there. It was money to go in there.
It was money to go in there. Listen, I was on a mission. I was trying to get my money for the skating rink. Y'all crazy. Listen, if it's the pool or the skating rink, and y'all want to know how I got my money for this skating rink, my sister's gonna kill me. She's probably not watching anyway. I would because they would, they had to wear all these, back in the day, everybody was bootlegging, right? And I'm sure that's probably against the law, but oh well, it's out there now. They were bootlegging. So when people would go there to get their stuff, they would sit around, drink, they would fall asleep. So when they would fall asleep, guess what would happen? All their little change would fall out of their pocket. I was racking up before I went to church on Sunday morning, and I'm racking up that money, and I'm looking. I'm like, "Yep, I got my skating rink money right here." And if Mama gave me a quarter for the collection, that went in my. I'm sorry, Lord.
Hey, we all did it. We all did it. Okay.
You said you put that money in church, did you? Yes, ma'am.
Oh yeah, honey. I never put my whole Sunday school. I never put all of it in Sunday school.
See, it was just me.
Nigga, look, I had to get my now laters, girl. I always kept back 15 cents.
Girl, what was your favorite flavor now laters? Green apple were the best ones. What were your favorite?
Great. I like grape and I like the banana, the yellow one.
I like banana and watermelon.
Oh, I love watermelon too.
Oh yeah, green apple was my favorite. All right, guys. Well, it's been real. I have enjoyed you guys. Y'all are both coming back tomorrow night. Yes,
tomorrow night it is, my dear.
Tomorrow night, let's talk Alabama.
It was so great meeting you,
Lou. You guys. I want say again.
I was saying it was great meeting you, Lou.
Oh, great
meeting you too, Sarah.
So I want you guys to come with stuff to talk about tomorrow from Monroe, stuff that y'all dig up and find. Okay.
Okay.
Good. All right.
Sir.
So. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow night here on the Ella Johnson Show. It's Black History all month, but this weekend, this special weekend, it's Alabama history. And today we talked about Alabama, and tomorrow we're going to talk about Monroeville, Alabama. That's my hometown, as well as both of these ladies. And we'll be back tomorrow night. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Have a great evening. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show. We'll see you next time.
We are supporters of the Ella Johnson Show. We live in South Korea. We have been watching Ella Johnson Show for like a year now. And we love her show. Her show is very inspirational, motivational, and educational.
If you would like to be a guest on the Ella Johnson Show, send an email to theellajohnsonshow@gmail.com or send a text message to 407-334-6997.
We love Ella Johnson Show.